Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'd like it to be known that I start punctually at 6 o'clock for the record, so please put that in the notes. Before we get started, as we normally do, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance in just a moment. But before we do that, I would like to... Mim, are you around? I'm here. Hi. So I would like to acknowledge and thank Mim Fawcett, who is the Executive Director and Chief Curator of the Attleboro Arts Museum. So thank you so much for having us tonight, and thank you. At this time, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains, through the prairies, through the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I think we have some competition, Jerry. The acoustics, right? The invocation as we begin a new Rotary year. New plans, new dreams, new goals, new schemes. New hopes, new fears, new joys, new year. In this Rotary year, may our club be blessed with new projects, new members, new success, new friends, and a renewed commitment to improve the communities where we live and work. Thank you. In keeping with club tradition, at this time I will toll the bell for club members we have lost since our last official installation night, followed by a brief moment of silence. Their names are Bill Adair, Mel Gauteri, and Pat Polio. Thank you. At this time, I would like to call to the podium Dr. Don Pierce.
Thank you. I've often heard people say that Rotarians are born, they are not made. Rotarians espouse service above self, but we will often meet individuals in our community that share that ideal. I am here to honor such a person. The presentation of Paul Harris Fellow recognition is the Rotary Foundation's way of expressing its appreciation for a substantial contribution to its humanitarian and educational programs. It is named for Rotary's founder, Paul Harris, a Chicago lawyer who started Rotary International with 3 business associates in 1905. A Rotarian will be designated a Paul Harris Fellow in recognition of their financial support for the Rotary Foundation. Rotarians often designate a Paul Harris Fellow as a tribute to a person whose life demonstrates a shared purpose with the objectives of the Rotary Foundation. Today we have the honor and pleasure of recognizing a special individual as a Paul Harris Fellow. A world of peace and good will come closer to reality with each additional Paul Harris Fellow. It is because of gifts like this one, made on another's behalf, that Rotary Foundation is able to carry out an array of programs that achieve beneficial changes in our world, improved living conditions, increased food production, better education, wider availability of treatment, and rehabilitation for the sick and the disabled, new channels of flow of international understanding, and brighter hopes for peace. A contribution to the Rotary Foundation is an investment in the ideal of goodwill, peace, and understanding. That is an ideal held high by Rotarians the world over. It gives me great pleasure, Dr. Sharon Tran, to present you with 2 emblems of appreciation to a Paul Harris Fellow, a certificate and a medallion, and a pin as well. Please accept our congratulations and sincere thanks for your commitment to our common goals of world understanding and peace. Sharon, come on. You.
I had a little sneaky suspicion there might be something going on. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
First the medallion. That's great. With the outfit. There was a pin in here. We'll just leave it in there.
Thank
Let's
you.
see.
You guys are so sweet.
And
Thank you. I'm honored, really. Thank you so much.
anyone want to get a picture? That's all right. Bear with us.
Everybody doesn't want to see me kiss everybody, right?
Okay, I don't know your password up here, sorry.
1018. Now everybody knows. It's 101. All set? Oh, okay.
We'll get everybody too. There's more. There's all of us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay.
Get the whole staff over here. No one's got anything else better to do.
Oh, yeah, don't back up too far. Yep. I got it.
Oh, I don't want to box on you.
There we go. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, I didn't put this thing together.
Never happens.
It's gonna be
All right, 3, 2, 1. Couple more. Yep. All
Moving right along, we didn't realize they take so much time taking a picture, but bear with me. Again, keeping with tradition, at this time it is my great honor to recognize this year's recipient of the Ed Kelly Award. Ed Kelly was a longtime Rotarian who many in this room remember and likely have countless memories with. Ed was Sergeant-at-Arms for many years, never missed a meeting or an event, and when he was there, he was documenting every step of the way with camera in hand. He exemplified service above self and was a friend to all. The Ed Kelly Award is given out each year to the Rotarian that exemplifies the true spirit of fellowship and camaraderie. Someone who brings and keeps the club together in every sense of the word. I can think of no more deserving person than this year's recipient for this award. In a few minutes, you'll hear me talk about the challenges that many clubs faced in our district over the last couple of years, but not our club. Angels come in many forms, and this person has truly been an angel to this club over the past several years. He is largely, if not fully, responsible for our club to maintain regular meetings at a time when other clubs did not meet at all. His technological expertise allowed us to initially host Zoom meetings when other clubs were struggling with what to do, And when we did resume in-person meetings, it was this person who gave up his lunch every week to ensure those who could not attend in person could still attend through Zoom. On several occasions, he had to improvise, but he always made it work. And he made it look easy in the process. As a result, our club never missed a beat, and I can honestly report that we are light years ahead of some of our other clubs in the district in terms of regaining their identity and getting back to meeting in person. Personally and selfishly, and I am sure I speak for many of our recent past presidents, he is largely responsible for the success and continuity of our club from year to year. I looked back to get an idea of the number of emails and texts we exchanged over the last year, and I couldn't begin to put a number to it. He never wants credit for anything and largely remains behind the scenes whenever possible. In fact, when he and I were speaking recently about previous recipients, he asked if I was giving one out this year, and I politely ignored him. Because he is the one who waters them. On a recent email exchange, I had asked him if he ever received the award. He went on to say he had presented it a couple of times, but he had never himself received it. And I quote, "The award is presented to someone for their outstanding fellowship to the club. Fellowship, as you know, is not my strong suit. I am more of a back-of-the-house Rotarian, in air quotes, than a front-of-the-house Rotarian." Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in acknowledging Jim Jones as this year's recipient of the Ed Kelly Award.
So when Jeff ignored me and didn't ask me to order the award, I kind of figured that I might be this year's recipient, which is why I said to him, are you sure you want to give this to me? Because this isn't really, I'm not the type of Rotarian that this is really meant for. If you think about the prior Rotarians who have received this award, Russ Marchand, Bill Adair, Jerry Hickman. These are all Rotarians who are very, very extroverted, change seats during regular meetings. That's just not me, but I will be very honest with you that this award means more to me than my Paul Harris, because it's an award I never thought I would attain at all. And I'm very humbled, I'm thankful that I was selected this year for it. And I just want to leave you with a little story. You probably have heard it before. Two little mice fell in a bucket of cream. The first mouse quickly struggled and drowned. The second mouse wouldn't quit. He struggled so hard that eventually he churned that cream into butter and crawled out. Ladies and gentlemen, as of this moment, I am that mouse.
Jim, thank you. For a second, I thought you were going to steal my jokes. So at this time, we are at the point in the presentation where we are going to do the installation of new members. Ed Casey, if you could have the honors.
Thank you, President Jeff. Before I begin the induction of the new members, I do have to follow up on the award to Jim, because I knew Ed Kelly. I knew him for many, many years, and he was an exemplary Rotarian. He was all that Jeff described in his as prelude before announcing the award to Jim. But when Jeff and I had a conversation about the award of the Ed Kelly Award to Jim, I suggested to Jeff, in all seriousness, that maybe it was time to consider changing the name of the award from Ed Kelly to Jim Jones. Because I heard your words in which you express feelings that you weren't deserving of it. Every Rotarian in this room that knows you believes you to be the absolute paragon of what it is to be a Rotarian. And as often as we say thank you, I don't think we say it often enough. So with that, I'll move into the induction. Fellow Rotarians, it is our responsibility to increase our numbers so that we may not only expand our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to encourage the spread of the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Welcome, Max. Welcome, Marion. Tonight, we welcome to our ranks and admit to membership Masha Szymanski. Great. Deb Kirby. Would both of you come forward? And Carrie Ann, are you here? Carrie Ann, would you come forward as well? So if you would come up here and stand in a line in the position of attention.
Firing line.
You, our newest Rotarians, have been elected to membership because your fellow members believe you to be worthy representatives of your profession or business. That's the end of it. There's nothing else. And more importantly, because you possess qualities that in your words and deeds exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in your public, business, social, and private lives. I want to emphasize that you have been admitted not only to the Rotary Club of Attleboro, but to a worldwide association. And by virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed into fellowship of any Rotary Club in the world. Now, the honor and the privilege of Rotary membership carries with it duties and obligations. You will be expected to attend the club's meetings regularly, to perform your share of club service, and to place your knowledge and talents at the disposal of the club, all with the goal of putting into action the principles of Rotary. I ask all Rotarians here to stand. These new members, in the name of the Rotary Club of Attleboro, I now formally admit you to membership. Fellow Rotarians, I commend to you our newest members and charge all of you to warmly and enthusiastically welcome them.
Oh, I got a new member packet.
I wasn't sure you'd have that. Of course, I should have known you did.
Thank you.
I'm not sure why Ed looked at me when he referenced attendance. I'll have it be known that I think I was here 51 of the 52 weeks this year. not to be repeated, I'm sure, but Ed, thank you so much for helping with the installation of new members. At this time, I would invite Carolyn Blake-Dibbert up for the installation of the officers and board.
Thank you. This evening, I will be discharging our outgoing directors and installing our new officers and directors. I have to note that when I was trying to figure out exactly what the script would be for this, I was blessed to be able to check our firm computer system where we have a file that says Rotary and another sub-file that says installation, and scripts for this very purpose going back at least 10 or 15 years. So Dad, the next time I'm on your case about not throwing things away, I know you're going to remind me of this moment. All right, we will start with the discharging of our outgoing directors. Jared Perkowski is traveling today, but we'd like to recognize both Jared and Max Falterra. Max, we're grateful for your hard work and note that you are hereby discharged effectively June 30th, 2022 from your duties to the club as a director. Thank you, Max, for all of your service to the Rotary Club. All right, and due to space constraints, when I call your name, you can stand where you are. Now, the following are the officers and members of the Board of Directors for the July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023 Rotary year. President-elect Amanda Adams, Vice President Kathy Haig, Foundation Chair Jeff Nelson, Treasurer Tom Kelly, Secretary Jim Jones, Bulletin Editor Paul Dumichel, and the following members of the Board of Directors: Don Pierce, Ed Casey, Jerry Hickman, Bill Kelly, Todd Richardson, Alyssa Hall, George Howarth, and Matt Flanagan. Incoming officers and directors, you've been elected to important positions in the administration of the Attleboro Rotary Club. This is an indication of the confidence your fellow Rotarians have and your ability to run the club on a regular basis. The board directs and leads the programs of the club, and our members are confident that you will uphold the high traditions of our club and will give the very best of your executive ability to further the interests of the club. We'll support the President's plans for the coming year and will carry forward the object of Rotary. I would ask that each of you answer, "I will," to the following question. Will each of you fulfill the responsibilities of your office to the best of your ability in accordance with the Constitution and bylaws of this club and of Rotary International? I will. Thank you. I hereby declare you to be the new officers and directors of the Attleboro Rotary Club, effective July 1st, 2022. All right, and last but not least, I'll have our new president, Ryan Sherman, come on up. Ryan, you've been selected to guide us through this coming year. The club has entrusted you with the important responsibility of shaping our club's future. And so that I would ask that you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ryan Sherman,
I, Ryan Sherman,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the Rotary Club of Attleboro.
To faithfully execute the Rotary Club office of Attleboro.
Of President.
Of President.
That I will, to the best of my ability,
That I will, to the best of my ability,
give support and assistance
to give support and assistance
to the District Governor and to Rotary International,
to the District Governor and to Rotary International,
and that I will uphold
and that I will uphold
the Constitution and bylaws
I will uphold the Constitution and the bylaws
of this club and of Rotary International.
of this club and Rotary International.
Fellow Rotarians and guests, I give you our incoming president, Ryan Sherman.
We're going to turn this back over to Jeff for a bit.
Actually, Ryan, could you step forward? I just wanted to wait till you sat down.
As you should.
If you're going to need to pin me.
Yes, which one is the one on the right? Okay. We have a script for this?
Nope.
All right. At this time, I am pinning Jeff as our outgoing past president. We should have went with the balloon sound effect.
I'm going with nobody heard me.
Yeah.
Yes.
The plaque? Okay. For Jeff's service this year, we are going to present him with the Past President Award, which is our gavel, has our Rotary insignia and everything else on here. Jeff, thank you for your service this past year.
Thank you. Ryan, thank you. So much of this night was scripted and I wouldn't say rehearsed, but planned and scripted, and as you could probably clearly tell, that portion wasn't. It was still a little hazy as to how we were going to make that transition, but we got through it. So we're at the point in the evening where I'm going to talk a little bit about my year, some remarks, some thank yous, and hopefully I will get through this. Okay. In a moment, I'm going to share with you some personal memories of the past year, some statistics, some fun facts, updates on projects, and if you know anything about me, I'm going to do it all likely with a little bit of levity. Before I do that, though, I have a few thank yous. First, to the club. From the bottom of my heart, I cannot begin to put into words the amount of gratitude I have to all of you for entrusting me with being your president for the past year. It has been a humbling experience and one that I will keep with me for the rest of my life. I went into this, like I'm sure many did before me, not sure what to expect and not quite sure how I will make it through. But I can tell you, it is the love and support from all of you that gets us through this year. If you were a past president, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you are not, I encourage you to throw your hat in the ring. It will be challenging at times, but it will be an experience you will treasure for the rest of your life. Thank you to the Attleboro Rotary Club. To Jim and to Jerry for being incredible institutions of knowledge. To Tom as past president, to Ryan as incoming president, Amanda and now Kathy. I thank each of you for being sounding boards and providing me with great advice as we, collectively, were able to navigate this 21-22 year. And to all the members of the board for your continued commitment to the club and to our cause. Thank you. See, that's the response I'm looking for. A little bit of laughter is okay. They're so sick of me after the last year, I don't get anything from any of them. Okay. So, if you know anything about me by now, you know that I love to have fun with everything I do, both at work and at play. So it's no wonder that I work for the Crazy Duck, and I'm inspired by Dr. Seuss. As I do with all presentations in my work life, I always give away a duck. So you have to be quick and you have to raise your hand. Would anybody like a duck? All right. As I think back and reminisce about my year, I can't help but to think about Dr. Seuss and Oh, the Places You'll Go. Now, I won't bore you with a full reading of the story, but I am going to share a couple of excerpts. But first, so if you recognize this handsome gentleman, that's me on my graduation day in college. This book was a gift to me from my parents, and I feel 30 years later it's still very apropos. It's entitled Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Oh no. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You'll be on your way up, you'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to great heights. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say, but sadly it's true, that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, you'll be left in a lurch. With banners flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Be ready because you're that kind of guy. And will you succeed? Yes, you will, indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you will move mountains. So be your name Buxom or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai, Ali, Von Allen, O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Who would have thought that even 30 years later it can be emotional reading excerpts from this book that my parents gave me? And that's exactly what this year has been like. The highs, the lows, the wins, the losses, and everything in between. We started the year without even a place to hold meetings. So collectively as a group, we made it happen. We had a committee search a number of locations. We hosted meetings at these locations. We voted and decided on our current location of Town Tavern and Tap. So we're off until we weren't. Our annual soup kitchens and Patriot parking were not to be. But climb again we did, with a successful golf tournament and a great weather day for our annual walkabout. We held our annual food drive to collect funds for local food pantries. Christmases for Kids was a smashing success, and we were even able to have a modified Christmas party for the club. Again, we were off and away until we weren't. We made the decision not to have our annual auction. I believe it was the first time in 107 years. I'll be corrected on that number later, I'm sure. And our spring fling was not to be flung. We would not let COVID get the best of us, as we persevered with a successful elder dental clinic, as well as hosting our top area scholars for our annual Scholastics Day luncheon held at the Elks Club. And did I mention, while all of this was going on, we were able to donate almost $40,000 to 24 local organizations who have and continue to do great things for this community. And on top of this, Zoom meetings, hybrid meetings, masks, shutdowns, vaccines, and anything else you want to throw in here, by all accounts, we did have a successful year. Thank you to all of you for that. Finally, as if we had nothing else to do, a couple of projects we tackled. First, our Children's Literacy Initiative. At this time, Brooke, could you stand up and just say hi? Wave to the crowd. All right. So Brooke, who is my fiance, is also a second grade school teacher in New Bedford. This initiative is largely the brainchild of Brooke. Throughout the pandemic, we would talk every day about the struggles these kids are facing. High school has transitioned fairly easy to remote learning, but how do you get a second grader on board, and especially at a time when they are learning to read? It is virtually impossible to do so remotely. So as a result, we donated $500 to the Attleboro Library, and our Children's Literacy Initiative was started. Many of you know, but for those of you who don't, each week we have a guest speaker and would normally thank them with a token of our appreciation. Most recently, that was with a gift certificate to Bliss for free ice cream, and I'm sure some would still prefer that. Now, each week, we present the speaker with a book, which has been chosen specifically for them by Crystal Brown of the library, which when we started this, I was just happy to give away a bunch of books. She kind of took it to the next level and paired each book with a specific reader that we have for that day. We ask them to sign the book, to take a photo, and then it is donated back to the Children's Library on their behalf. To date, we have donated close to 50 books, and by the end of the night, it will be many more. More to come on that. We also embarked on a very ambitious international project. This project came to be because of two of our own club members, Mahesh Patel and Jared Prokowski. They were having a conversation about the new Attleboro High School and what will become of all the old equipment, materials, supplies, etc. They included me in the conversation and we started to ask a few questions. And before we knew it, our international project was underway. This project is largely a collaboration between Attleboro High School, the Attleboro Rotary Club, and the Interact Club. Sturdy Hospital is also donating about $7,000 of medical supplies for this cause. Several Rotarians and local community members are also on board to donate a variety of items to the project. This project will take some of the surplus desks, tables, books, sporting equipment, and anything else that will fit into a 40-foot container and will be shipped to Bocas del Toro in Panama later this summer. Many of you may remember Emily Talentino. She was a former Rotarian and YMCA employee. Several years ago, she took a position at a not-for-profit organization in Panama. Unbeknownst to us, she also started a local Rotary Club about 3 years ago. When we were trying to determine where to send the items, her name came up. We made some calls, made some connections, determined the need, and again, we are on our way. All along, a huge hurdle has been the shipping company. And not to bore you with the details, but they were reluctant to give us any kind of numbers until we were closer to the ship date. I am proud to say that as of yesterday, we have received a final quote, which was within the budget we set aside for this project. So it looks as though we are off to great places. So in closing, I will leave you with two things. First, my final thought. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. And secondly, it is normal protocol for the outgoing president to host a dinner for, I believe it's for the board, is that? For the board. And I know in the last couple of years, because of COVID, we've been unable to do that. And this year, in lieu of doing that, what I have decided to do as a thank you to each of you, up here you'll notice there's a stack of books. So for each Rotarian that's in the audience tonight, I'm going to be presenting you with a book. At the end of the night, I'm going to ask you to come up. I'm going to have you sign it, just like we do at the end of every meeting, and it will be donated back to the Attleboro Children's Library on your behalf. So, yes, Ed. I didn't ask questions.
Yeah. Is there a bliss certificate inside? A bliss.
See, there's always one in the crowd. Yes. Yes. So again, as a token of my appreciation for all of you in attendance tonight, and because I believe fully in the Children's Literacy Initiative, that is my gift to you, and I think by now you're probably tired of hearing of me. The last thing you want to do is have a 3-hour dinner with me, so.
You're not going to end with a joke?
I wasn't planning on it, no. But I'm sure I can come up with a fun fact for you. So, fun fact, the black-eyed peas can sing us a song, while the chickpeas can only hum us one. So for those of you in the crowd who don't know, I have had several very poor attempts at humor throughout my time as president. So on most weeks, I would try to tell a very dry, not funny joke, and usually it didn't resonate with anybody. So that's where this came from. So again, I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you, and thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. So thank you. So at this point, it is my honor to pin Ryan as the incoming president. Could you hold this one?
Absolutely.
And you can see where this is clearly going so much smoother.
Hold on, I'll get that.
I meant to put that there.
Ouch.
You're just funnier than I am.
No. I don't know about that, Jeff.
Put a nice hole in your suit.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You turning it over to me now?
I am.
All right. Let me get my speech. Give me one sec. All right. Can everyone hear me? We're good? All right. So, I'm going to start this off with the following. I am not about speeches. That's who I am. I'm behind the scenes, kind of like Jim. Accountant, CPA, just doing my thing in the background. Things work, we're good, and we move on. But, I'll just start off with that. And I started writing what I'm going to say, and I want to keep it short, and then it just kept expanding. So I'm going to try to respect everyone's time, and we're going to keep going on here. So, I would like to thank the past 3 presidents who took us through the pandemic. We have Alyssa Hall, we have Tom Kelly, and Jeff. It was such a tough thing for some to get through, and we were able to keep everything together, which is just, for me, it hits right there. Sorry. So, we're still here. We're still strong. And there's always more work to be done in our community, right? So that's why we're here, and we're going to keep forging on. So, Jeff had talked about Bocas del Toro with the school project that we're going to continue doing. I also wanted to touch on one of the things that I'm going to keep doing, which is the literacy for the children, because, sorry, what Jeff said hit home again. I had a kindergartner. Having them, read during the pandemic, it was just stuff. Zoom meetings for kids, not easy. Try to get them to read their books, forget it. My daughter would, she'd do her work and then she'd go off and do something else, and it's like, what are you doing? So it was just tough. So I can understand the importance and value of reading for kids. It goes a long way. So, I'm just going to continue on without going too far into that, but, basically, I believe, as a community, we need to come together as an organization and seek some new opportunities and ways to give back to everyone who has given to us. Sometimes, we don't have to recreate the wheel, but maybe re-envision some of the things that we've been doing in the past and putting a new spin on it. We had that with Roto. That's definitely a new and upcoming thing that's gone a long way. So I think change, while we've done many things the same way for years, having some changes here and there is probably not a bad thing. Maybe we should embrace it. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to continue the childhood literacy. We're going to forge on with the school project with Bocas del Toro. We're going to take care of that. And, I'll say this. Back when I joined Rotary in March 13th, 2014, which was about 3,000 some odd days ago, I never thought I would be in this position today. And Jim, who was president at the time, asked me to fill in for Jerry, who was going to be our next president, right? And I think it was on the board, and it just kind of took off from there. And, I said to myself, being behind the scenes, if Jim can do this, I can do this. We can do this. So, just one of those things where, those connections over the years and just learning so much about what we do as Rotarians meant so much to me. That's kind of why I choke up here and there, because it does mean a lot to me. And I'm sorry, I don't usually get this emotional. But Jeff and then Jim's speech, just a hit. I had tear, and it is what it is. But I believe there's strength in numbers. And when we're joined together for a common mission or goal, we can achieve a lot more as a team. So it's going to come a long way. So as I said, I want to keep it short and keep things moving along. I also want to say thank you to the new Rotarians that are here tonight for taking that first step on your Rotary mission. It means a lot. So, I also want to thank the, past and present Rotarians for their guidance along the way and instilling the, Rotary knowledge and just, the history that comes along with that. So, one last thing before I close everything up. I just want to remind everyone, Rotarians, don't leave before don't leave. Jeff, we have some stuff to take care of. Other than that, be safe and have a nice night. And meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Again, thank you. That is the conclusion of the evening. Rotarians, if you could, though, please come forward. We would like to get a photo op for the group with our books.